I see a lot of discussions around the internet about which form of bending is the strongest, which bender is the strongest, and whether a person who is strong against one form of bending is weak against another. A lot of these conversations are quite interesting, so I'd like to apply them toward Team Avatar and rank its members by power level. To outline how I'm making this list at the outset, I will mainly be focusing on three factors. First is one-on-one strength. In other words, how do each of these characters fare in one-on-one combat with other benders? Second is crowd control. This refers to how each of these characters are able to deal with large groupings of enemies. Last is important attributes, or unique capabilities belonging to each character that aids Team Avatar in situations that are not inherently tied to combat. These won't be given as much weight as the previous two factors, but they are significant in determining how powerful a character is since they contribute towards Team Avatar's success. So with that, let's begin our list. At number 6 we have Sokka. I hate to rank my second favorite character in the show as the weakest member of Team Avatar, but he is facing pretty stiff competition. In terms of both one-on-one strength and crowd control, Sokka is obviously at a disadvantage since he is not a bender. He is also inferior to Suki in both of these areas since he hasn't received extensive formal training. Of course, he did train briefly with Master Piandao in swordsmanship, but this isn't enough to beat out the years of training that Suki went through as a Kyoshi warrior. As for important attributes, one of Sokka's most useful qualities is his keen intellect and ability to come up with ingenious plans to help Team Avatar. Without Sokka, Team Avatar wouldn't have been able to stop the drill, get into Roku's temple, find out about the solar eclipse, stop the Fire Nation fleet, and more. Of course, Sokka's intelligence is very useful and makes him a powerful ally, but this is not enough to make up for the idea that he is lacking in combative capabilities when it comes to one-on-one fighting and group fights. Despite how much I like Sokka, I do maintain that he is the least powerful member of Team Avatar. As you probably could have guessed, number 6 is Suki. Her not being a bender puts her at the same disadvantage as Sokka in terms of innate power level in comparison to the other members of Team Avatar. What differentiates her from Sokka, however, is the fact that she has undergone extensive formal training as the leader of the Kyoshi warriors. In terms of one-on-one strength, Suki has been shown to have been eventually able to match Ty Lee, who up until that point had only been bested by Appa, I guess? And Katara and Toph that one time, but that wasn't really a fight. Suki is more powerful than Sokka when it comes to crowd control, and the best example of this can be seen when she absolutely destroys a group of Fire Nation soldiers at the Boiling Rock and takes the warden hostage. Suki doesn't really seem to me to have any unique qualities that help her to promote the success of Team Avatar. Yes, she's a good leader and a good team member, but those aren't qualities that are exclusive to her. Nonetheless, I would rank her higher than Sokka in regards to innate power level in Team Avatar. Now the rankings get a little bit more difficult to make. At number 4, I'm going to have to put Zuko. While certainly strong, I don't think Zuko is as powerful as the remaining members of Team Avatar that I haven't discussed yet. In terms of one-on-one strength, there are 4 important fights that need to be considered. His Agni Kai with Zhao, his Agni Kai with Azula, his fight with Gao, and his fight with Azula in the chase. In the chase, Zuko was clearly outclassed by Azula, who basically wrecked him whenever she got the chance. For the other 3 fights, there's an important element of Zuko's fighting that needs to be considered: breakdancing. No joke, whenever Zuko breakdances and firebends at the same time, he cleans house. Zuko was getting clocked by Zhao until he did some breakdancing to make Zhao lose his balance. He was getting owned by Gao entirely because he wasn't using his firebending, but what move did he counter with when he began to fight seriously? That's right, breakdancing, Twister of Fire. He was fighting pretty equally in his Agni Kai with Azula until he busts out his breakdancing move and knocks her down. Even in group fighting situations, Zuko is unstoppable when he busts out his breakdancing moves, like in one of the fights in the initial episodes when he sends a bunch of Kyoshi warriors flying. Thus, I can only conclude normal Zuko is at number 4 in terms of power level, but breakdancing Zuko is probably tied with Avatar State Aang. No, for real though. Zuko as a whole is stuck at number 4. He's pretty strong, but he's not as versatile or mobile as Katara when it comes to fighting, is not as good at crowd control as Toph, and is just not as powerful as Aang. He does have the ability to redirect lightning, and granted that did save one member of Team Avatar directly, and indirectly saved another member of Team Avatar, but the characters that I have yet to mention possess unique abilities that are used much more than lightning redirection. These unique abilities have saved Team Avatar countless times, making the characters who use them more powerful than Zuko. At number 3, I'd like to put Katara. She's extremely powerful in a variety of circumstances. If we look at her important wins on one-on-one fights, she's able to wreck Zuko in Book 1 and gets knocked out only because he took a cheap shot on her when her back was turned. She also beat Azula twice. Obviously, she beat Azula at the end of the show, but she also beat a completely mentally stable Azula toward the end of Book 2, which everyone seems to forget about. Katara would have likely incapacitated Azula here had Zuko not intervened. She's also pretty powerful when it comes to crowd control, especially when she uses her octopus technique, which she was able to use to keep a bunch of Dai Li soldiers at bay. Unfortunately, Katara's power is limited by the amount of water available to her. As she mentioned herself, she isn't able to do much in certain terrains, as when Team Avatar was traveling through the desert. This is a big reason I'm ranking her lower than Toph and Aang, who are able to fight in basically any terrain, the latter more so than the former. In terms of unique abilities that Katara has, she can both bloodbend and perform healing. Bloodbending would make Katara more powerful than any other member of Team Avatar except for Avatar State Aang, but she's limited in her usage of the technique both by the phase of the moon and her own personal afflictions with the practice. As such, I didn't factor it much into this ranking. However, Katara's healing abilities are incredibly useful. She had successfully saved multiple members of Team Avatar with her healing and healed allies. Katara's healing and bending abilities make her remarkably powerful, but not enough to place her over the number 2 member of Team Avatar when it comes to power level. At number 2, I'm placing Toth. Next to Aang, there's no doubt in my mind that Toph is the most powerful character on Team Avatar. She's absolutely incredible at one-on-one combat, having only ever lost in a fight to Aang. She's also remarkable at crowd control, being able to deal with droves of enemies fairly easily. Toph has 3 unique qualities that make her exceptionally powerful and a true asset to Team Avatar. First, there are her sensory capabilities. Her seismic sense enables her to anticipate the movements of her enemies, making her very powerful when faced against all different types of opponents. It also allows her to detect ambushes and see places that are out of the field of vision of others. Her daredevil-like enhanced hearing also helps out Team Avatar multiple times. Toph's ability to tell whether or not someone is lying aids Team Avatar for the most part, and she also invented metal bending, which allows her to pull some pretty crazy things and enhances her combat abilities. One of the worst matchups for Toph is Aang, because his airbender qualities make it harder for her to sense his movements. Besides for him, though, Toph could easily beat any other member of Team Avatar in a head-to-head match. Obviously, the most powerful member of Team Avatar is Aang. When he's in the Avatar state, it's absolutely no contest, but even when he's not in the Avatar state, he's still the most powerful member of the team. He beats Zuko pretty easily in Book 3. He could counter any waterbending move that Katara uses, except for bloodbending, unless he's in the Avatar state, although it's been made clear that Katara won't use the technique. He's a pretty effective counter to Toph since it's harder for her to track him using seismic sense when compared to other people. In terms of unique abilities, Aang has energy bending, meaning he can basically make the 3 aforementioned benders powerless if he so desired. He's also got super speed, which would definitely help out in whatever random situation Team Avatar found itself in, though if you ask me, there were definitely occasions to use this skill, and Aang chose not to for whatever reason. But, nonetheless, there you have my ranking of Team Avatar members by power level. Make sure to let me know what you think about this ranking in the comments. Until next time.